pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All 5 board members are present. Do we have any agenda items to table or remove?
We do. We have one item to remove, and that is under M1, and it is marked out with a line through it as well. It's under finance. The rest remains the same.
Do we have a motion to approve the agenda as noted? Mr. Reed makes the motion, Mr. Hall will second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have the minutes from November 10th. Do we have a motion for approval? Mr. Nelson makes the motion. Mrs. King will second. Is there any discussion? Not all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. The minutes from our special meeting on December 1st, which was a training that we held, do we have a motion for approval? Mr. Reed makes the motion, Mr. Hall will second. Any discussion? Not all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have delegations. And Mara Cottrell is here to talk about establishing a Boys and Girls Club in Ritchie County. So we will invite you to come forward, and we note that delegates would be the right word, have 5 minutes to speak.
Thank you so much. May I go ahead and pass out this without that counting against mine?
Get started.
Okay. I was like, I'll try to run.
Please pass out first.
Fine, okay. I am going to go ahead and out myself on a little bit of a disclaimer here and a little bit of embarrassment that I misunderstood. I thought it was a declaration instead of a delegation. So when you see that on there and you're like, declaration, what? You'll just know that that was just me not hearing things correctly. So what this is a flyer that I created, and it also has the budget, which I'll go into a little bit of detail. I didn't want to get into too much of the weeds because I know this is very quick and I want to be very cognizant of everybody's time. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you guys are interested in a copy of it or not. Okay, sorry. All right.
Just want to make sure that mic is on. It is on. It's on, okay.
Can you hear me? Testing?
Yes, that's
Okay.
good. Thank you.
Perfect. All right. Well, first of all, thank you so much for being here, or for being here and having me. Really appreciate it. My name is Mara Cottrell, and I am here to talk to you about establishing a Boys and Girls Club of Ritchie County. So due to prior obligations, my co-presenter and the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Pleasants County, Morgan Nihar, could not be here. But she sends her regards and hopes that she is able to connect with you all again in the near future. So for those of you who don't know me, I am a Ritchie County native. I graduated from Ritchie County High School in 2008, and I recently became a substitute teacher within the school district. I am also the proud parent of a 2nd grader who attends Harrisfeld Elementary and a 5th grader who just started the middle school. I am also currently the chair of Harrisville Elementary's Local School Improvement Committee and the president of the school's PTO. I'm the vice president of the Ritchie County High School Alumni Committee, and in May 2024, I was chair of the committee that successfully helped pass the Ritchie County Schools Access Levy Renewal. So growing up here, I am currently residing here. I can attest that there isn't a whole lot here for families and for children. Now, please don't get me wrong, I absolutely love my community. I truly appreciate all the progress and recognize all the efforts that have been made. It's just now that I have children here who live here and who attend public school, I want there to be more opportunities for our youth, more resources, a more balanced life and education full of enriched experiences. So I have spent countless hours racking my brain for a solution, for a way to help. And then one day, as I sat through a presentation about the Boys and Girls Club of Parkersburg, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Why not have a Boys and Girls Club here in Ritchie County. So what exactly is the Boys and Girls Club? So for those of you who don't know, it is a nationwide organization that provides safe after-school and summer programming for young people, which aims to help them reach their full potential. It offers activities such as sports, STEM education, and arts, along with mentorship and the support for academic success, health, and character development. Clubs focus on creating a positive environment for youth to build their confidence, learn new skills, and become more productive citizens. So on this flyer that I handed out, it talks about what the club is. It shows you academic success that has been linked to the Boys and Girls Club. I cited the source there. You can check that URL. There's been many studies that have been done, but I'll just read the first few. 44% more likely to believe that schoolwork is more meaningful. 25% less likely to skip school. So there are a variety of benefits to having a Boys and Girls Club. And if you look into the back, I even give you more statistics and more finding about school attendance, test scores and grades improving, classroom behavior improving. Let me see what else. So, again, for the interest of time, I won't go and read this verbatim. And then on the back here, you can kind of go into the budget, but that hasn't been changed as far as the commission, and I'll get there here in just a moment. So, let me back up. How do we establish a Boys and Girls Club in Ritchie? Well, after researching this and talking to the Boys and Girls Club of America, I learned that we must open up a chapter within an existing organization. Since that existing organization is the Pleasants County Boys and Girls Club, I was put in contact with Morgan. Morgan said that they recently opened up a chapter in Tyler County, and that they were very interested in partnering up with us and opening up here in Ritchie. Once open, we would be the Boys and Girls Club of Ritchie County. We would just be under the umbrella of Pleasants County. But we would largely independently operate, and we would choose programming that would suit our community and our youth. So what it boils down to is funding and location. I believe that I have the funding taken care of. However, I cannot accept funding until I have a location. And that is why I'm coming to you all tonight, because I think that there is an opportunity for us to partner up. I do not, under any circumstances, think that there would be any possibility of getting an answer, and that is not at all what I'm asking for, only a consideration. So, utilization of one of your school facilities. I would love to have the middle school to start there, but I just don't see, with all of the activities and stuff that's going on, how that would be feasible. Harrisville Elementary would probably be my second choice, just because Creed is not handicap accessible and Smithville is too far out there. And then utilization of the buses to help with transportation needs, and then the donation of any surplus food. And then the last request that I have, because I'm probably coming up close on my 5 minutes here.
You are at time, so just
Yes.
if you can make a
Yes,
final statement.
that was it, is this, that the additional meeting, so that we can discuss this in further detail, because I know this is a lot of information that I covered.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your input. We, as a board, are not able to discuss items that aren't on the agenda. So at the, you're allowed to present whatever you want to us. We are not allowed to provide input on them until we have it as an agenda item. So we will discuss that at the end of the meeting when we have board member comments. But thank you very much for presenting this proposal to us.
Yes, well, I truly appreciate that, and just, yes, really hope that we can talk again soon, and just, again, thank you so much for everyone's time.
All right, thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right, up next is the superintendent's report and academic updates.
So in front of you, you have a few papers that you can go over. The first one is one that looks familiar to you, and that is the attendance report. That is now through December 5th. And you will see, again, with our codes at the bottom, that we are still in the partially meets and the exceed standards. Smithville has gone down to 3.92% on chronic absenteeism, which is great, but I just need to tell you, they're all really good. You know, when we first started monitoring the chronic absence, we were in the 20s and the 30s, and we're looking here and we're in the 12s and the 15s and the 16s. So I want you to notice that we have made some great improvement on student attendance and chronic absenteeism, and that comes from supportive parents, making sure that they're in school, and fortunately, we haven't had a lot of, I'm not saying that, I was gonna say homeless.
No, don't say it.
Nope, not saying it, we'll all have a cold next. We'll all be sick through Christmas. Also, our attendance rate, they're ranging from like 94.74 and up to 96, 93s. Those are really good attendance rates. And then our regular school attendance is at meet standards and partially meet standards. So we still are trending in a good way when it comes to attendance. And like I told you at the beginning of this year, we will share that with you monthly. Other things that I want to go over with you, in front of you, you also have a little, looks like a little black card, and it deals with the Canterville Ghost and our public performances. Just so you know the dates that we are having, the Ritchie County High School Theater Department is sponsoring a play. It is December 19th at 7 p.m. And then Saturday, December 20th, they have a matinee at 3 and an evening performance at 7. So if you get an opportunity, please go out and support our students. The next thing that you have in front of you, it again is an event calendar, and it has December and January, and there are a few things I kind of want to point out on this to you. You will see as, you guys, you all have very good knowledge of what goes on in the school system. And it really impresses me because when I'm putting this together, I'm thinking, I'm gonna let them know that we're doing our mid-year benchmarking for IXL and iReady, and I know when I put that on there, you all know what I'm talking about. So that just like makes my day. Because you know that we are required to have mid-year testing as well as benchmarking with the GSA. That's in here on December and January. And then also other things that we have coming up, of course, our fall theater production, and I gave you more details of it. We are coming to the Christmas holiday sooner than, you know, maybe I'm ready for, just for the record and my shopping. On December 19th, which is not far away, I just need to say this out loud, it's like 2 weeks away. We will have an early dismissal for students, and then we will have faculty sent following that for staff. Then we are off school December 22nd through January 1, and then January 2 is a PL day, and there is no school for students. So students and everyone comes back to school January 5th. We've made a few adjustments based on last year's weather. We are making sure that, and we got to practice, Mrs. Wagner will review this with you, we practiced an NTIK and our new programs that we use to communicate with students and families. And we will make sure going into second semester that the high school has met their second semester classes prior to going off on break, so that we have things a little bit more in line and prepared in case we do have a winter and a break prior to coming back like we did last year. A couple of other things I want to point out about Ritchie County High School. This weekend on Saturday, they have the ACT test at Ritchie County High School. And so Mrs. McBrayer and the folks at Ritchie County High School have been doing a lot. We always do like a kickoff right before, 2 weeks ahead. Last week during Help Labs, they had Wednesday was math, Thursday was English, and Friday was science. And they had approximately 40 students attending sessions on those to do some ACT prep for the test on the weekend. That week, last week's focus was on a day and a subject. This week, they've had, during Help Lab, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and the kids could pick their subject. So Monday, they have science, math, and English. Tuesday, they have science, math, and English. And students can pick where they want to go, because we have some students that are trying to super score. And so if they're trying to super score, they may want to go to science all week. And so they've modeled the 2 weeks a little bit differently in hopes to help students with that. Some of it is actual like practice testing and reviewing things, but some of it is also reminding them of test taking strategies and how to like eliminate answers and that kind of thing. Also this week, Monday and Friday, They have 2 sessions on Monday and 2 sessions on Friday, 3:30 to 4:30 tonight, and 3:30 to 4:30 for an hour, and then 4:30 to 5:30 for an hour. They have 2 separate sessions, and in their first session this evening, they had 20 students. So I feel like that's been successful to offer that support for our students. And then they'll do both of those timeframes again on Friday to provide some ACT kind of camp prep time. Then this week during clubs, they will offer an hour. Students can elect not to go to their club, but to go to another ACT prep type time. So they're taking every advantage of every time that they have over these last 2 weeks to make sure kids have that last minute focus on that exam. We have a number of students taking the exam this Saturday at Ritchie County High School from our school. So,
Do other schools get it done there too?
yes. But I mean, we're 50 plus, around 50 plus. Yeah, we've got a lot of students taking it. So I think that's why you can see the numbers in these preps being really high.
Right.
So we're excited that kids are taking the lead, and we're offering them, and they're optional, and they're coming to them, and they're working at it. So I think that is something that we've been doing an ACT camp kind of thing for many years, but just wanted to share with you that that's an academic focus that is continuing and going on at Ritchie County High School this week. The other thing is I have left you had asked for information about a media program. I have provided you that information to review. It has stuff about businesses in it, pricing, so I just would like you to take some minute, review it. If you have additional questions, we will get back to you, but it gives you what you had asked for. I believe it was Mr. Hall about a program for the high school.
Thank you for providing that information.
And the last thing I have is to thank Dr. Jackson for helping last week with the training. I think that hopefully that was beneficial, and Mrs. Hott and I are getting ready to do that with the same training. She's going to become Dr. Jackson, and we're going to do the same training for the directors and the principals soon. So just letting you know that we are moving forward and making sure we are compliant with that testing. And that's everything I have.
I wish her the best in her transition. So just to clarify, the calendar has now changed to where the high school block schedule classes actually end before break, and so they start in January with their new.
Correct.
Okay, and that's great, because
Yes.
it used to not be that way and it was confusing,
No.
so.
The last few years, at least 1 or 2 years, we've been able, and then the calendar we'll look at in January again. So we sit down with the staff, we say, what are your goals? And of course, the high school always says, we want the first semester to end by break because of college courses and other things, it's an easier flow. So as we develop calendars, that has become a focus and have been able to do that.
That's great.
So it will continue. But with that said, if we go home for Christmas break and don't get back and they haven't met their second semester teachers and have been given the syllabuses, then it makes it a harder transition. So before break, they will actually attend fall and spring classes one day, so they have the curriculum that they need in case we don't come back. Do you understand what I'm saying?
That's great.
So we have made an adjustment to make sure that they have the information for second semester, so that we don't have an issue with them being, last year we were
With an
home.
NTI day at
Yeah.
the beginning of the semester.
Yes, and we had an NTI day, and so we were here, in all of our glory, figuring out how to send out. It would be easier this year because we have rooms, but we were sending out syllabuses, trying to get curriculum out, and so we will make a better flow this year.
That's
And then
awesome.
hopefully not have snow. Plan
Well,
for it, not have it.
it's great to plan before break, similar to what you do when they're moving to a new school.
Yes.
So, great, thank you. Any other questions? All right, moving on to director reports, we will start with Mrs. Wagner, the Director of Personnel and Technology Enhancement. Seems to be a common template here.
Surprise.
was here, we talked about this too. Were you gonna say something, Ms. Hott?
No.
Okay. Last time I was here, we started to talk a little bit about, this is the year that we're gonna do the iPad refresh. So thought that we would share a timeline with you. So I'm gonna go down through that. At the beginning, phase one, we were talking about funding because this is a pricey time and we're looking at that. So when I first came on in the school year 2023, we took the iPads that we had just gotten new ones and we did a buyback. And so we brought those to you to be surplus and then have those bought. So we had that money set aside. Talked to our finance director about budgeting to plan for 3 years out. And last year, our Tools for Schools money that we get from the state and this year's Tools for Schools, to set that aside so that we're prepared and ready for this. So we talked about the funding. Phase two, we started our informational meetings. Our tech department has met with a company called Mosul, which is an MDM. Right now we use an MDM through Lightspeed, looking to see what will best suit us in the future. We have met with the Apple team and a couple of times, and our next step with that is going to be in January to do a survey with our staff to look at what are our needs when it comes professional development. Phase three.
And I think it's good to know what you met the Apple team with. Go over what your.
What we met with the Apple team?
Yes.
Yes, when we met with them, we did a Teams meeting with them. Actually, it was on our day, NTI day. And we talked about, let's talk about our timeline, let's talk about cost, let's make sure we start planning ahead. They were impressed that we were starting so early, but it's a big project for us. The insurance that we want to carry on those, what kind of professional development, and then what do we do with our iPads we currently have and how to get the most out of them. Phase three, we're talking about our current iPads that we have now. We've got a plan for them, that we're gonna inventory them, and we got a timeline here to kind of keep us on track a little bit. To inventory those, we have to then bring that to you all to get that deemed as surplus. Then start looking at companies that we could sell those to. And then at the end of the school year to be able to collect those, because all of our students have them, all of our teachers, our substitute teachers, we have a lot of them out there to get back in and to take care of them and get them boxed up and ready to go. The last part is our new iPads, which are going to be Gen 11s. We are going to start meeting in February to determine what are our needs, how many do we need when we're talking about teachers, substitutes, that kind of thing, and students. Then we will request and receive quotes. We will then meet with Apple, place the order. We have to come to you first before we do any of that, let you know the cost, get approval from you, and then place that order. We hope to have them in our hands by the end of May. And then we are also going to start planning on that professional development throughout the summer once we get those iPads in. So that's kind of our plan.
And two important dates that we have to remember when we're doing this. They have advised us strongly this time to make sure that we do our refresh and our sell back or buyback by the end of June, because that's in order to maximize the amount that you get back. So we know that that's a key date that we have to deal with, and we also have to we want to be ready to get them early June, as early as we can, so that we can get them set up for the summer. But also if we have summer trainings for staff, we'll need to have those iPads back because they are Gen 11 and they do have some changes on them. They have some different features.
So once we do the survey in January, we'll come back next time, we'll talk about that professional development. Also, I think on there, I was to speak a little bit about our communication tool rooms, and like Ms. Hott said, yes, time flies, was it Tuesday of last week? And we had our first NTI day, and we utilized rooms. High school seemed to utilize rooms and email, which is a good idea because those students, some of them are going to be out in the workforce soon, and email is going to be big to them. But I went through and I looked at, chose an elementary teacher, looked to see what they posted out there. Then went to middle school and looked into their rooms and see what they posted. Looked into high school, and we had a lot of posting of things, so students knew exactly where to go to find their homework, what they needed to do for the day. If they had a question, they could ask, and teachers were back and forth, and you can view all of that in rooms, or we can view to see what they were talking about. We also have had, I think, an increase of parents that have called in to say, you know, help me out, make sure I can get in there, because our coaches are doing a great job now of utilizing that to put information out to parents and to students. And it allows them to see, if I'm a coach and I put it out there, and I can look to see exactly how many participants saw what I put, and they can look to see who those are, and then if somebody's not seeing it, they can reach out so that everybody's aware and communication is good. Any questions? Yes.
I've got one in high school, one in middle school. I've got one high school teacher that uses it
One.
out of my sons.
Mhm.
So, Warren Schaefer's great. But
Yes.
She likes it. And maybe they don't need to use it, but none of the others use rooms except for that one NTI day. It's in outside. Maybe that's fine. I'll just let you know.
But they did send those out
Middle school, same
On NTI
way.
days.
on NTI days. Mhm.
I was just looking, teachers, the only posts they made were for the NTA day except for the basketball players who uses it regularly.
Mhm.
The participation is very low in my experience.
I think from the standpoint of teachers,
Using it to communicate anything, very low.
that sounds like to me we need a little bit more.
So if you're checking it, it's not with these teachers.
I was gonna say, you mentioned some of them that I did check.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
But I
Those
can
were
give
ones.
you the names of the ones that definitely don't use it.
Yeah, it was used on NTI day,
Yes.
but other than that, not a lot.
And
Yes.
I think you've got to realize too, you have high school and middle school kids, I think it will be used less there.
Yes, and I remember as a high school principal, it was
Yes.
kind of the same when we did live grades, and we
Yeah.
wondered why parents, because they're high school students,
Yeah.
by that point, if they can get the information, they're not utilizing as much as I can see them.
I'm not bringing that up to complain, I just want everyone to understand that on the middle school and high school side, that's the usage that I've seen. And if that's fine, that's fine.
Mhm.
It isn't used by them very much for anything, for communication with parents.
I wonder if they're emailing parents too. That may be a conversation piece that we can.
I don't know.
I'm glad that you said coaches are using it though, that's wonderful news.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I'll say I got one in middle school basketball and he used it really well.
So when we go back to the goals of when we went with this program, two of the goals were that we had a communication piece for NTI days. And one of the other goals was that we had a communication piece for, athletics. Those were two of our goals. So I think that as far as the product meeting our initial expectations, it is in those two areas, it seems to be in line. I think that as we move forward, you're never gonna get a lot of parents involved in it, at the high school level, I don't think, but I think elementary and middle you could more. So I think that's a part we could look at.
I have a question on iPads. So while you were talking, I texted my son. And he's told me it before, and it reminded me. He says, I don't use the iPad for anything. I got one teacher that uses it. And so I say that not to complain, but as far as expenses and usage, you know, if every kid has to have an iPad, fine. But like when you get to the junior and seniors, do you need as many iPads if they're not even using them? Do you kind of talk to the teachers and see the usage there, and is it a waste of property, you know, or tax money to have so many? Maybe. He said Miss Andrews is the only one that has assignments in it, and then I use it to check grades. That's all I use my iPad for. Who's a junior?
And I think that's part of your meetings that you're going to be having to determine the number of iPads you need back in February, correct? To make
Yeah.
those decisions.
Yeah, to make the best use of money.
Do they still have the laptops?
The college classes, yes.
Yes, all color. So you have a whole bunch of them that could.
And 2 main computer labs there as well. Yeah. Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you. Very good.
Next, we have Wendy Johnson Hall. Sorry,
Yes.
Hall. The Director of Operations and Management.
I'm gonna attempt to use technology. We're gonna hope that it works.
We believe in you.
I hope so, cause now the TV's not showing, there it is. There we go. Okay, so, I'm speaking to you this evening about the Safe Schools entrances, at Harrisville that is complete, all is good to go, so I'm going to show you a short video. Actually, I have two videos on that one, I have to pull it way back here, so I can see it. So, this is kind of going backwards here, this is the interior view, looking at the man trap from the inside of the school. And then going in and looking at the pass-through window. And then the second video is coming from the interior of the man trap. And I'll try not to make you car sick, but I can't promise. And the man trap going outside and looking at the entrances that way. So that was Harrisville. We think it looks really nice. They're using it, they're utilizing it well. No complaints from over there. And then if we look at Smithville, Creed, I'm sorry. I saw an S on the screen mirror when Smithville. They do have one small issue with their doorbell that you will notice it is not working right now. That cropped up last week. Call has been made. They will be here Thursday.
That's a new door.
That's the door.
It's a new door.
It is a new door. You notice it had a swipe card on it. I didn't fall up the steps.
How many takes did you do?
One, just one. And then going in the main door into the man trap there. And they will be coming. There's a slight issue, a hiccup with that door that Mrs. Hott could probably allude a little more on, with the magnet bar on it that they are going to adjust.
Put in.
Put in. I couldn't remember if it was.
And then there's, so at that school, all the doors have been replaced, as you can see, they're very nice, and the one in the middle has been replaced. But their technology is, they're struggling with their, swipe cards.
Yes.
And so they've gotta get the one fixed downstairs to fix the one on the main office door, to fix the one that's here. So they're all linked together, they're supposed to come this week and finish that project.
It's been quite the puzzle.
Is that a contracted company?
Yes.
It's outside that, yes.
Yes.
So do they still need to like go through to the office door?
So it'll be where you have to, they'll be buzzed to get into that. They'll stay in that middle band.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll stay in the middle man trap and then
No
they'll.
window, like.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay, and then
There'll be a camera out there so they can see all the way up, yes.
So then we're talking about the bus garage. I have videos of
Quick
that.
question.
Go ahead.
Is there a camera on that stairwell every
Yes.
floor? That's a lot of space between.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
There's one
Yes.
at the bottom as you come in, and then you can see all items on it.
Mhm.
Good deal.
Bus garage, I know Mrs. Hott sent board members the fun meme of the bus garage going down. I believe I have that on, I forgot to put it on the iPad, so we can't watch it going down. But we know that the bus garage phase 1 is complete. The demo of the building is done. The old floor slab was taken up and hauled out, and good news, the sanitary line was found. That seemed to be the mystery. This was from today. Phase 2 is beginning, weather pending, of course. The concrete guys will be showing up to dig footers, possibly laying some block. The underground work will begin with some basic plumbing and electrical work. This was a soil compaction test. The results will be reported by the architects by the end of business tomorrow. Basically what that entailed was, this was done to make sure the soil conditions were at an appropriate grade to set the new slab of concrete. So some soil may have to be removed and replaced with gravel. And they tested 2 areas, the area there and the area in the back corner, kind of close to where I would say the shop and save would be. It was fun to watch. Skylar's our project manager. He felt they were at about a 10% completion rate, and we're actually about a week ahead of schedule. But he reminded us that we're just getting into bad weather, and but was overall pleased with the process of the project. My other, I have an other. Let me unscreen here. We had our, I've talked to you before about our brim inspection.
That was our board of risk insurance management. That inspection was completed in October. We received our report on October 31st, and our corrective action plan was completed. Creek Collins had 3 recommendations. Harrisville had 6. The board office had 1. And when I give you this number, you need to remember that we're looking at 3 areas: the middle school, the high school, and the athletic facilities. They had 14 recommendations, and Smithville had 4. So of those 28 recommendations, 20 of them have been completed and fixed. 8 of them are in progress of being fixed. 3 of those 8 are the same recommendation. And the other ones are in various stages of completion, so we're getting those fixed.
So, for an example of what one might be, is that we numbered the doors on the outside of the building, but on a couple of the doors, the number didn't get on the inside of the door as well as the outside of the door. So, or we've hired a company to come in and tag all of our equipment that they've checked it, and in 2 or 3 cases, they forgot a tag on something. And so we've had to call them back to come back and re-tag.
Yes.
So they're not huge.
There was no major issues at all. No major issues at all. It was just all things were very minor and very easily fixable.
So that's very normal
Yes.
for an
Yes.
inspection
Yes.
anyway.
We thought it was actually a pretty good report.
We're going to be installing new carbon monoxide detectors at Creek Collins and Harrisville. We learned they have a shelf life of 10 years, and several will be expiring in 2026. So we ordered the same model for each school to get them in circulation for consistency. And then last week I attended the West Virginia Association of School Facilities Conference in Flatwoods. Really informative conference. The fire marshal spent the afternoon talking to directors, superintendents, everybody, and shared a lot of good, useful information. I'm excited to share with principals and school people. So, any questions?
I bet that was a much different conference than what you've been to in the past.
Funny story, they were having the code inspectors conference there as well. And there was no signage as to which room to go in. Well, I went in and put my stuff down there. And they were all dressed like contractors, not directors. And they're like, the guy's like, you didn't sign up. And I think I'm in the wrong place. So I eventually got to the right spot. But it was a good day.
Any questions? Great, thank you very much. Next is the consent agenda.
We have 12 consent items on the agenda. The first one is a retroactive to approve Rebecca Martin. She's a student at WVUP in the criminal justice program. She needed 6 hours. She's a Ritchie County High School graduate. She needed 6 hours with our PRO, and she did those hours part in November and then the rest in December. And then we have an update of the freshman basketball schedule. Wrestling, out-of-state trip to Weir, that was added late. That's one of the regionals or one at the end of the season. They weren't sure early where it was going to be held. We have 4, 5, 6, and 7, which are your typical non-student transfers. You have your volunteers, your volunteer drivers, and in lieu of transportation. And as we move into second semester, you have your attendance waivers from the high school as well as the work-based experience from the high school. The last 3 are really good news for us. We have 3 students starting their residency 1 placement, which is like their student teaching for older people, for me. And that is, we have Alyssa Stewart, Roxy Monroe, and Zoe Butcher. And they are 2 at Harrisville and 1 at Ritchie County Middle School. So I ask that you approve those as stated on the record.
The superintendent is recommending that we approve the consent agenda as stipulated on the record. Do we have a motion for approval? Mr. Reed makes a motion, Mrs. King will second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have resignations.
We have 2 resignations prior to publication, and then a Zachary Judge as a custodian at middle school, high school, and Rachel Tollhammer, an English teacher at the middle school for the purpose of retirement. Hers is as of December 31st. I ask that you approve those as stated on the record.
We have a motion for approval. Mr. Hall makes the motion. Mr. Nelson will second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have resignations submitted after publication of the agenda.
we have Kelsey Wagner as the head softball coach at Ritchie County Middle School, and Leander Parsons as the assistant softball coach at Ritchie County Middle School.
Do we have a motion for approval? Mr. Reed makes the motion. Mr. Nelson will second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have employments.
A lot of them. A through E are professional employees. I ask that you approve Alexia Golf as a restricted sub, William Bell as a social studies teacher, William Hauser, who's doing his student teaching with us now, as a substitute teacher. Brittany Reed as the Title I, she'll be transferring to Smithville. Elisa Shepler as a substitute nurse. Then in service personnel, F through L, I ask that you approve Andrew Adams as a sub-bus operator. Look at this, there's two of them. Roger Sigler as a sub-bus operator, is that exciting? Madison Hall as a sub-aide. Angela Harburger as a sub-aide. Jim White will be transferring to a new route. Cassidy Tansey is transferring to a different school as an aide, and Lauren Goff will join us from the sub-list as an aide. M, N, and O are our clock operators, Justin Hodges, Jacob Clevenger, and Cody Stewart. And then P and Q are non-paid assistants for softball in the spring for the high school. Ask that you approve those as stated on the record.
Thank you. Just as a reminder, looking at the list, if someone does not live, if they're related to you but do not live in your home, then you do not have to recuse yourself. If they do live in your home and they are in a non-paid position, you also do not have to recuse yourself, so you can vote. Just clarification based on the list. And
All your relatives.
All right, so do we have a motion for approval of the employments as stipulated on the record? Mrs. Keene makes the motion, Mr. Hall will second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have payment of bills in the amount of $915,368.97. Do we have a motion for approval of payment of bills? Mr. Reed makes, did you? I got it right here. Mr. Reed makes the motion, Mr. Hall will second. Is there any discussion? Not all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, we have financial requests.
So, the first two requests are supplements and transfers. Under supplements, two of them deal with Keep the Ball Rolling donation, which I had sent you information on, that our CISs had received a donation, and that just puts that in our books, as well as Mrs. Wagner has been talking about tools for schools, and that is the grant from the state. As far as transfers go, the majority of our transfers, not all of the transfers, once again, are moving them to line items in which we have to make it more specific, but 90% of these this time deal with salaries, like readjusting a sub salary. We had a full-time position, but we've had a sub in it all year, and so each of those have that type of background with them. And you'll see that stated, many of them go down through there, say salary, sub cost. But that's where most of those are. And then also later on the agenda, we will bring up the weight room under this same area, and one of them would be a transfer to be allowed to remodel and add some equipment to our weight room. Number 3 on this, we are retroactively asking to advertise for replacement of existing ductwork and insulation for the energy recovery units at Ritchie County High School, Middle School. The units have been replaced, but the ductwork wasn't done at the time, and now we're having some problems with leakage. It became I don't want to say an emergency, but we needed to get the process started. So we have already asked for sealed bids, and it was to open, and we didn't have anybody. That's why we asked you to take the other part of this off the agenda. The other thing under finance is to advertise sealed bids to do some remodeling at our weight room. So we ask that you approve the financial supplements, transfers, and then those two items that deal with sealed bids.
The superintendent is recommending that we approve the financial request as stipulated on the record. Do we have a motion for approval? Mr. Nelson makes the motion, Mr. Hall will second. Is there any discussion? Not all those in favor signify by regular meeting is January 12th, so we wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And it's here at the Board of Education office, and it will include a public hearing on the development of the 26-27 school calendar in accordance with Code 18-5-45 of West Virginia School Law. The time is 6:45. Do we have a motion for adjournment? Mr. Hall makes the motion. Mr. Reed will second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Thank you.
I already had the word Mr. out, so I couldn't choose.
I was wondering,